Alex. Give me more. Okay, cash at hand, that's the motto, that's the plan. Got a whole lot of loot, check my status, that's the brand. Boy, stop playing, money so long, broke them rubber bands in the jam. I'll be damned if I fuck with Uncle Sam. I'll be spazzing on the beat. I go thermal on them niggas, I'm absorbing all the heat. Oh, salty ass niggas be thinking that it's sweet. Oh, dusty ass niggas in the presence of the lead. Salute. Yeah, we looking for recruits. Join the squad, get you open, corner 3, 2, 1, shoot. Don't be scared, come prepared, and we keep you in the loop. Get you squared and prepared, and we accept you as a troop.
Yes. It's Mixsquadtv, and it's the podcast. This is the first episode of Mixsquadtv podcast, and we actually have a very special guest in our mix tonight. Illish. Just as a boy, he was working alongside Prince, B.B. King amongst his top, getting counsel from Miles Davis, and yet we don't even know about him because he doesn't talk about himself. So that's why we have brought him on today. He's also responsible for writing chart-topping hits for many artists and household names, ghostwriting for Bruno Mars. And so we're just going to make sure we give him his space and his time to be able to share with us his experiences through his journey of music. Let's welcome to Mixsquadtv, Illish.
Hey, what's up, man?
What's going on, man? How are you feeling?
I'm doing good, and you?
Doing well. I'm doing well. I'm glad to have you here. I know we kind of hit it off on Instagram, kind of just kindred spirits, kind of just, talking music, right? And love the conversations we had, and we'll continue to have. And so I'm sure this won't be the first time that we see your face here on Mixsquadtv. But just go ahead and, tell the masses about yourself and your experiences.
Started music at a young age. Learned to play about 10 different instruments. Got into mixing and mastering. I was an artist for a while. I did some ghostwriting for a lot of majors. Now I'm getting ready to run my own thing, do exactly what you're doing, and do it on a different level than just genre based, and more or less kind of what I offer instead of what the people want. I can offer them what they want. That's pretty much it, man. Is enjoying life and working my gift.
Wonderful. And so you took us through a little bit of your beginning, but what inspired you to pursue music in general?
Where I grew up, we didn't have much. So my friend went in his room, played do re mi on a piano. Once I heard that was it. I might have been 5 or 6. I didn't even know what a piano was. I'm like, what is that? He looked at me and was, you've never seen one? I have no clue what that is. I heard that, went home. I said, Mom, can you get me a piano? She got me one of those used upright pianos, and that was it, man. I went from that instrument and wondered if I could master another. Of course, I still can't read music, but it's all good.
No, I mean, there's a lot of people who have had certain challenges or what would be perceived as challenges, whether it's reading sheet music, being able to see, that there's been a lot of musicians and a lot of legends who traditionally would have something that we would call, say would hold them back, but they were just gifted.
Yeah, I did it was a songwriting contest for a summer. I was thinking about going to Berkeley, and it was Winfred Marsalis was in the class, and he had everybody write something, and I told him, man, there'll be no way that I can write that. I said, yeah, I'm extremely dyslexic. So he said, just come up with what you can write up, put it down on your phone or something, let me hear it. So it happened to be pretty good in the class. He kept me after. I don't know if I did something wrong, but his exact words, he goes, I read sheet music, I understand the theory, but really, once you're looking at the sheet music and you're playing it, you're once removed from the thing that you're doing. So he said, so it's okay not to be able to do that with the way that you're going. Your approach is about the same. So that was a good motivation. And, starting off, not that I didn't try to learn it, but being dyslexic, my brain it wasn't going to work.
Understood. Yeah. Can you share just about that? You mentioned the dyslexia. And for those who don't not as familiar with what that is, just kind of just share the challenges of what you deal with having that condition
Right,
and
right,
how that can affect people in general who have it with music.
right. So, yeah, reading was rough. If you told me to go left, I was going right. B and D was backwards,
Mm,
and I think it was seventh grade in music class, and we were all testing out different instruments, and I started to play what everyone else was playing. I grabbed the instrument and play it, and the teacher asked me, "Do you do music?" I go, "No, but I can hear it." And I wouldn't say it's a condition. I know that in the beginning they called it a learning disability. I'm not going to compare myself to anybody great, but Einstein had it, Nikolai
hmm.
Tesla, all these people have had it. It just really means that we learn and create in a different way. And in fact, NASA hires people that are dyslexic because the way their brain works it,
Yeah,
with different things. So, yeah, just the regular things as a young kid, peer pressure of thinking that you're stupid,
right,
all
right.
that stuff was brutal. So, I discovered music and it all went away. And it's just really the love for it, or more or less that music discovered me and it saved me.
That's just great to hear. Just for anybody out there listening who
Right.
has experienced maybe not dyslexia, but other things that we as society would deem would could hold you back or that
Right.
makes you different.
Uh-huh.
There's something out there for you. Like there's some individuals who have certain issues like paint, and it's an escape, and they can be as all over the places they want to be, because not everybody thinks linearly, right?
No,
Like
no.
sometimes we have conversations with people, or I'll have a conversation and somebody be like, man, he he's challenged or he's slow, and it's like, no, he's just, when he talks, we normally think of like one thing after another, but he's just grabbing from different
Right.
places. But if you really listen or take the time to listen, you'll get to understand that he's making perfectly good sense.
Right. Most of the times I look at that like those type of people that compartmentalize other people were born in a system. They weren't really taught how to live. 'Cause
Hmm.
if you taught how to really live and look at life with no fear, you'd be able to accept something that's different. It's kind of like different music. Certain groups of people don't want to listen to rock, and people that listen to rock don't want to listen to certain music. I give you,
Right.
I had a great example. I was coaching football in the city kids, and I asked them if they knew who Jimi Hendrix was. The same skin colors, and they had no clue. They go, "Yeah, that's that other folks' music." So I said, "All right,
Wow.
get in my car." So I played the music. They're listening. We don't want to hear that. I went on my phone. I typed Jimi Hendrix. The minute that they saw him, they froze. And I said, "So don't ever let anybody tell you you can't do anything, because this dude right here, for all those people that give you a hard time, they're listening to him." So again, part of the system. If we are taught to or grown up in a way where we can appreciate and have not really people skills, but not be so underdeveloped and just stick to what you believe. Anybody that's different won't matter. You know, it won't
Yeah.
even matter. So it's more. I wouldn't blame. It's more like dyslexia is what it is, but it's really how we're all brought up to put people in those lanes.
And that's like so true, as far as like that resonates with me, for real, just how
Mhm,
compartmentalized as a society we have become over the time that I've had my life, right? But
mhm.
just to move on through the music process really quick, can you tell us about just your process of writing music for yourself versus writing for others? How do you approach each one differently?
Um, well, when it was for majors, I'd do it if they want a pigtail on a donkey. That's what they'll get. So it doesn't matter for a major label sending me all this money. They'll tell me, like one artist you mentioned, they'll say, "Hey, we want that new jack. We understand that you grew up to Parliament. We'd like to we'd like to do some of that." So I don't really need to listen to the artist. I just give them what they want. If it's an independent artist, I'm better at talking and meeting the person as instead of being a car salesman. I got to feel who you are. I see in colors. You may move a certain way. That may create a beat for me.
Mm,
You know, like
that's deep.
you may say something that creates a lighter sound or a darker sound. So I try to take the person, and then for myself, it could be anything, man. I could hear a word, and that will just spark a whole song. I could hear a bass in my head, or I could be sleeping and then wake up and record that. So it's a multiple of different ways that it can be done. If it's not a major industry or commercial that's looking for certain things, then I got to stick to some. That's actually harder for me. That puts me in a box.
Mm, interesting. Do
Yeah.
you? I know we have a clip here that you had sent me just to kind of validate, the your experiences and whatnot. And you had sent me. It was an interview that was going on about your ghostwriting experiences.
Mhm.
And we're just gonna take
Oh, sure, man.
a look at that real quick, and then just kind of have you expound upon that after we
Okay.
take a look into that. Let me bring that up real quick.
who Willie is managing, is also on the line with us, and he's playing on the keyboards. It's songwriter, vocalist, and musician who goes by the name Gabriel. And Gabriel is a prolific songwriter and a ghostwriter for many of the major, most prominent talents, who is currently working on a new CD under the management of Willie. And they both are joining me now. If you didn't hear, welcome to the show so much, Pepe, Willie, and Gabriel. Thank you both for joining me.
All
Oh,
right, so we're not gonna actually take a list, like a listen to the entire
no.
video, but I did want to just bring that because I wanted to ask you specifically, like what what the artist, because for those who don't know, G Illish is the Gabriel Blue that was mentioned in that
Yes, sir.
particular soundbite, and what songs, or maybe not songs, but individuals within the industry were you ghostwriting for?
Anybody you can think of that's, let's see. I mentioned some names. I just won't mention the songs. We got Anthony Hamilton,
Mm,
uh, Belial. We're going back. The person that you mentioned, um, Chris Brown.
mm,
This, see, I'm safe. The whole let me explain about
yeah.
ghostwriting. When a person ghostwrites, all of your rights are stripped.
Mm,
So, and you have to sign a confidentiality. So if I mention things, everything I have can be taken away. In the other part, which we haven't got to, I'm trying to get back into this business because I stopped doing that. So I have to be very careful what I say. But anybody that's been in the top 10 for the last 10 years, pretty much I've been on top of that, whether it's R&B, rock, country, blues, uh, it's some like miscellaneous music, or some type of I don't know what they call it, a goth type of music. I can't remember the name, but
mm.
yeah, they'll get the songs. I've even worked all the way back to Evanescence.
Yeah, I don't even know
So
what that is.
yeah, so that's what I've done. It wasn't a good experience. I didn't know any better. I just wanted the money, and it was rough. So once I had figured out I was just being used and my name is not going to be out. I'm going to be in the closet or whatever. I decided to, be brave enough to stop giving people my stuff
Mm,
and then put my money into my own thing and rebuild myself. But I have to be very careful. There is an article out about some of it. Um, I didn't write it. It's somebody that's in the business that has enough power to write it, and they kind of talk about it. That interview too. That guy is the one that discovered Prince, and for some reason he compares me to him. He says he has that it factor with his music and his writing. So um, there's another thing on my YouTube. Michael Bland, who's Prince's drummer, they also talk about all that stuff. And yeah, man. So
yeah.
that
I would say, that, well, I would ask you, would you recommend someone to get into that particular field?
um pretty much ghostwriting means that, hey, Cash, I'm going to take this is how deep music means to me, but they're going to take everything that you own, your family, your kids, we're going to put new clothes on them, new everything, give them to someone else, and we'll pay you once while we create them.
Mm,
So you ghostwriting, if you can, when you first come in, you don't really get to talk that much. You get what they give you. If you start to build up a catalog where they say, hey, this dude is making money, you can start to talk more. I didn't know much about money back then because it just came from such a poor existence. I just took what I was thrown, and then once I figured out that that's the wrong way to live. As a matter of fact, more than 90% of the people, artists that are on the radio that people think write their own stuff don't,
Mm.
and that's a fact. I came up with, there was three of us. It was actually me, John Legend, and Neo, and oh my God, not the Hit Factory, but it's another studio in New York, and we all did the same thing.
Mm.
Well, they all started out as ghostwriters, and they chose to go to the artist route. I thought about it, but the music business is a filthy place. You gotta want it so much more than you want to breathe in order to deal with all that stuff.
Yeah, and that's kind of, and to sum up like what the Mix Squad is actually trying to accomplish one day at a time is to give people who just have a passion for music and unique abilities to create music, whether that's an instrument with your vocals, whether it's creating beats. We just kind of want to give that space for the individuals to be able to get promoted, prop themselves up, and give you a space to where you're not around the vultures of the industry, but still have the ability to have a platform that if the masses like you, if people are drawn to your music, if they're drawn to the beats, they're going to find you. They're gonna, you're gonna build your catalog up. Are we gonna ever probably compete with the industry? No, but we still want to be a safe haven for those who love music the way you do and don't want to get caught into the trap of the industry.
Right. I think for what you guys are doing and the passion, I think if you manifest that you can do it, you can do it. I believe that you guys can compete because if you're writing good stuff and it's coming from a good place, those people that try to control people, they'll knock on your door. A good example would be Billie Eilish and a girl named Lana Del Rey. I had talked to Lana Del Rey. She's huge, and they had approached me and said, we don't promote music to radio. I'm like, how does that work?
Right.
And this girl, they told me to go look her up. She had like over 6 million followers. She didn't have a genre. Same thing with Billie Eilish. That team said, we just came out with our own stuff. They came to us. So it's really a matter of you can have a backbone and believe in what you're doing. You can change. It's not easy. But we're at a point now where you don't have to go to a studio and someone has to own your masters. You can do this stuff at home and then find, great people like yourself who are helping those people. It can be done. It's just a matter of how it can be done. Because people told me, you're Native American, you're not black or white, you ain't gonna get a chance to do this or that, and that was a lie.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you got the talent, you got the talent. Yeah. And speaking of the talent, we're going to actually transition from the writing aspect, the ghostwriting stuff, and really just take a listen to some work of yours, and then come back from there and kind of discuss just your unique sound and kind of how you carve out your sound. So let's take a listen here we're going to take a listen to Beautiful Girl, which has some notable spots from being #1 overseas and some articles that were written about the success of that song.
Right.
And so let's take a listen to that before we talk about it.
Don't you know you got me acting crazy? I can't believe the things you do to me. No one's ever made me feel hazy. Your body's past the point of being PG. Girl, you're like a bottle of sunshine, and I wish I could make you mine. You got a face that belongs in movies. I just wanna be one of your groupies. Hey, baby. Hey, beautiful girl. Still in my mind, lost in your sexy and slow. This is when my heart loses control. I love the dimensions of your body, the kind that plays tricks and whispers softly. You're the reason of jealousy and envy. I can see why everyone's hating on you. Girl, you know you're some kind of heartache. I'm not sure how much more I can take. That dip in your back has got me tripping. And that candy-coated personality. Hey, beautiful girl, staring back now, lost in your world. I love the way you move, sexy and slow. This is when my heart loses control. 'Cause I'm addicted to the way that you move, accentuated lines in the way that you groove. Yeah, I don't know what it is you do that makes me wanna get next to you. Hey, beautiful girl, I'm still in that mind, lost in your world. I love the way you move, sexy and slow. This is when my heart loses control. Hey,
Wow.
I appreciate it.
Wow. No, just as I'm listening, I have a lot of different thoughts because of I deal with the mixing, I deal with
Right.
the production, I deal with being a vocalist. And just all the different ingredients that cook that one up.
Mhm.
Like it gives me a feel from your upbringing, like from hanging around the Prince days, from all the different type of sounds that you're using, to the emotional rise you get once you get to the hook. You know what I mean? Because not saying that, there's always good music and there's like people that are using these practices, but like to take you from that kind of leading you up to that moment where things get big.
Hooks.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel that is, not a lost art, but it's not something that I hear as often as just that slow build, get you kind of invested and then hit you with the big ensemble of a hook. And so I wanted to get your thoughts, man. I really enjoyed that record. It brought me back to a time when I was a child, listening to my parents listen to their palette of music. It just brought me kind of like a nostalgia kind of feel, even though I feel like that song isn't that old.
No. I appreciate it, man. It's an honor coming from you guys because we got the mix squad in the house. You guys use your ears every day. You hear everything, so I appreciate it. It's just certain artists that my mother listened to. She listened to Sly and the Family Stone. The one thing that I caught from them is that they weren't afraid to add in every genre in their music. So if you notice when the breakdown comes in, there's power chords on the guitar that's not usually used when you have R&B. The delivery and the vocals come from listening to the melodies and way people sing today, except for in the chorus, that's the old school stuff. And then you got this. I always liked watching the break dancers. You get this. That's from that scene. You all gonna laugh. What's that? Turbo Ozone. When he was dancing out, I don't know if you've seen it, but he was dancing out in front of the Breaking. Remember that movie Breaking? 1,000 years ago, and he was dancing, and there was a part, and I caught a clip online. I'm like, what is this? And there was a thing going. So I put that. I sampled my own voice and put that in there, and then the guitar is just. I mean, there was a Jackson 5, and that's all. That's all that is, and I just played that part. Bass line in the chorus is Latin. That's not normal. And then the beat is what it is. I played the drums and then I sampled the drums because the ear palette today has changed, you know.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, I try to add in everything that is in my body, but I try to make sure that I make it work and give it space so that it's kind of like turning pages, like you were saying, and builds.
Yeah, it definitely builds, and just a lot of different sounds that were brought together and made work.
Right,
Because
right,
that's kind of what becomes the issue, is that a lot of people have a lot of these different sounds, a lot of different things that they have an idea of using, but fitting them together to make just them complement each other
right,
becomes the issue. When you have things that are supposed to sit in the same frequency ranges, certain
right.
instruments that are not necessarily accompanied by other instruments. So I felt a lot of just the creativeness from just yourself, like, come out of that. And then you played most of those instruments, or all of those
Oh
instruments.
yeah, yeah. Anything that I've given you, I've actually gave you a clip from a commercial. Everything will be me, except the commercial will be that I sung the part to the two people there. But yeah, everything's pretty much me. I would tell people when they're writing their song or they're thinking about it, might work for different. It's different for all songwriters, but see your music as a friend you're making, you know, and each one is different, but everybody says hello and shakes
Hmm.
hands. So there'll be elements that are similar. Don't be afraid to put everything on the table in that one song. You know, just record it all and then scale back and look at it. Then the next part is, you know, like the mix squad. That's when you've got to get in touch with people that have a really good ear and understand, you know, frequency. Yeah,
Hmm.
you can't have maybe 4 or 5 different things living in a high frequency and say you want one of them to be the star. They
Right. Right.
be separated.